Good morning, dear participants and partakers. I am pleased to welcome you on the last day of International Faculty Development Program organized by the Department of Languages, Integral University under the Aegis of Human Resource Development Center, Integral University. Joining us today is an academician par excellence. Professor Sandeep Kumar is PhD in psychology with specialization in industrial and organizational psychology from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India. Sir has more than 19 years of experience in teaching, research, administration, extension consultancy, and training. Sir is currently working as Professor of Psychology and Personal Management and Industrial Relations at the Department of Psychology, Banaras Hindu University.
Vanya, you're not audible. It is, I think, muted.
No, it's not mute. Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, okay. Sir has organized symposia and workshops at various national and international platforms. He has traveled to South Africa, France, Switzerland, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, Canada, and Taiwan to organize symposia and paper presentations. He has, he has published more than 36 research papers in edited books and journals of national and international repute. He has conducted 5 sponsored projects from the funding agencies like University Grant Commissions and Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. Sir is actively involved in training of executives working in public and private sector organizations. Dear sir, our participants are privileged to have your sessions. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Venya, and thanks to Integral University for inviting me for this session on psychology and sustainability in this faculty development program. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Dr. Venya, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. So, can the participant join the conversation?
So they can through the chat box because your lecture is being live streamed on YouTube. So they can through the chat box join the conversation.
Okay, sure. So, through chat box, I think I need some responses from the participants. So, uh, do you know about the Sustainable Development Goals of United States? You can write in the chat box. Anyway, let us move to some basics of psychology and sustainability. I think all of you know why this sustainability is important because, as per the Sustainable Development Goals, each and every person and things, or even the plants and trees which are there on Earth, they have some right to exist in this world. So, as you know, because of the climate change and because of the uh, uh, deforestation, because of the global warming, many species on Earth are uh, being extinct. Then, on the other hand, there are certain kind of inequalities at the level of society, at the economic level. So, to overcome these, United Nations uh, started thinking long back in 1972, and nowadays we are having a sustainable development goals for 2030, 2050, and 2070. So many sustainable development goals we have. We will talking about the uh, uh, sustainable development we are having for 2030. So let us start with psychology, because uh, I'm a person of psychology, and as we know that we how our behavior is going to affect the environment. So, as you know, some very basic, the psychology, the scientific study of behavior, mental processes, and experiences, and there are two bases of behavior of an individual: a biological basis and socio-cultural basis. So these are the basis through which a person behaves in a particular manner. The way he behaves or she behaves with another person, with uh, people, with the environment in which the person lives. So that is why this aspect is also very much important. How we live on this planet, how others live, how we interact with the society, people, how we interact with the people of disadvantaged groups, how we interact with the environment, how we interact with the other animals on the earth. So that is why it is very important to understand behavior of a person in a particular society. Then the second aspect which we are going to talk is the sustainability. Then, what is sustainability? As you know that sustainability is the ability to exist and develop without depleting natural resources for the future. So the major concern nowadays is that the people who are using resources, they are using resources on this earth at a very faster rate, and because of that, the next generation may not get the resources which they deserve. So if they're not going to deserve get it, so certainly they will be deprived. So to save them from this deprivation, sustainable development policies are required. And as you know that there are three pillars of sustainability: environmental protection, social development, economic development. So all these three aspects are very important. Many a times when we see that there is economic development, and because of economic development the environmental protection is being uh, many a times compromised. On the other hand, when economic development is there, many a times we can see people who are from different disadvantaged group, they are not getting an opportunity to develop at the pace which they should be developing. And because of that, there are some people who are getting richer and richer by day, and there are many people who are uh, uh, suffering from poverty. So there are many sustainable development goals which we will be talking about, and the behavior of a person, behavior of a group, behavior of a society, behavior of a community, behavior of a race, behavior of a nation, behavior of the whole world is very important. How they are many a times discriminating in terms of economic development, in terms of the social development, in terms of the unequal distribution of the resources which are there all over the globe. And that is why there was a need of uh, developing this sustainable development goals, so that every person can get their rights. Now the question is, why is this sustainability important? Because as we discussed that people should be given their uh, uh, given what they deserve. So there are many benefits of sustainability. If we are uh, going to involve in sustainable development behavior, certainly there are some short-term and long-term benefits. So we cannot maintain our Earth ecosystem or continue to function as we do, because there are many aspects which affect our behaviors. So that is why uh, we need to understand our Earth's ecosystem. We also need to understand how to make the sustainable choices which are to be made. And as we know that if harmful processes are maintained and with no change, for example, the case of depleting environment, in the case of uh, the uh, glaciers being melt. So many aspects are there, and many times we know that the when we are running on the fossil fuel, the huge number of animals are becoming extinct, and the atmosphere is also getting irreparably damaged. So that is why we need to consider how to behave on this earth so that these kind of uh, negative developments could be stopped, and we could involve in some behaviors where certainly each and every uh, uh, living being and non-living being can uh, be sustainably developed and sustainably they can exist on this earth. So, on the other hand, two very important things, as we know that nowadays India is one of the most polluted uh, uh, nations because of the use of vehicles, use of many times because of the infrastructure issues. So, growth of resources can be relied on, like, for example, water quality, cleanliness, and the benefits of sustainability. So, as you know, uh, we are blessed that we are able to get clean water. We are blessed that we are able to get uh, good quality water. But there are many people on this earth who are deprived of even the clean water as well. And on the other hand, clean air, because clean air and clean water is one of the rights of human beings when it comes to their sustainable development. Then next aspect, which is very important, which affects our behavior, so this is very important. But how our behavior affects, there are some biological bases. So we are genetically programmed, like there are some genetic influences. There are some brain chemistry. There are some behavior because of the hormone levels and nutrition. So these are the several factors. Because of that, we behave in a particular manner. And on the other hand, we can see then there are some aspects which we call the socio-cultural behaviors. So if you see the socio-cultural behavior of a person, many times we do some behaviors because we have learned those behaviors. So because of that, we behave in a particular manner, and they are basically programmed through the people with whom we interact in our society. So socio-cultural behavior certainly uh, affects us in many ways. One aspect we can just, if I think there would be some people who have joined, uh, uh, who have seen villages, and villages are very sustainable. If we see any village, there are very few things, even no things go out of the village. So there is nothing which is considered waste in a particular village. So whatever we get from the fields, from the plants, we always give back to the land where. So, in the form of the vermicompost, in the form of the uh, uh, fertilizers or biofertilizers we have. So ancient villages had a sustainable lifestyle, and people used to lead a sustainable life. So each and every person who was living in a particular village, they had formed a community, and because of that community, they were able to use the resources in a sustainable way. Because whatever they used in terms of, for example, they used to feed cattle, and whatever waste was produced, that goes back to the fields. Again, that waste is used as a fertilizer, and because of this, there is nothing which is considered as waste. But when we see our uh, city life, so many waste to be produced every day in terms of the plastics, in terms of the food waste, in terms of the uh, waste like in the form of metals, in the form of glasses. So many waste we produce, which was not there in our villages. So when we compare this sustainability in our present life and also with the villages, so we uh, lag far behind in terms of the sustainable life which we are leading at present. So because we are producing lots of waste in our life. So that is, and even with the help with the development of the uh, nations, several byproducts are there in terms of the uh, air pollution, in terms of the noise pollution, and all these things most of the time leads to several diseases, and diseases are also several times irreparable, and many times they take lives of people. So even most of the diseases which now at present we are having because of the chemicals we are using in our foods, the plastics we are using in our life. So certainly these factors are affecting our lives, and we are not able to save us because of these uh, reasons. So all these factors, we need to go back to our ancient way of living, and not, if we are not able to go back, we need to understand that how we can adapt such kind of life, so that in future the waste which we are producing is not waste, and it goes back to in a way that it is used by the resources as a resource in our lands. So certainly we need to develop some system which ultimately help us to lead a happy and healthy life. So as we are discussing about the sustainable development goals, like there are 17 sustainable developments goals which were fixed long back in 2015 and for 2030. So no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities where we live, and responsible consumption and production of things which we are uh, going to consume. Then climate action is very important because of, as you know, that most of the nations are suffering from the high temperatures. Even Europe had highest temperature this year itself, this summer itself. So even because of the waste we are producing in our life, it is going to hamper the life below the water, because the waste in terms of the chemicals which are being dumped in the sea, they are affecting the sea life. Then life on land is also being affected because of the air pollution and things which we are having. Air quality index, you can see wherever you live. So ultimately, when we see of the big cities, certainly it is not worth praising the air quality index. Then peace, justice, and strong institutions are very important, because as see the whole world. So many times there are wars, there are lack of peace, and that is why all nations which are who are involved in uh, uh, United Nations, they form these sustainable development goals, so that each and every person can live a happy life or quality life. They get their share in a particular at a particular time of life. So all these sustainable development goals need to be addressed, and to address these, certainly each and every person will have to play their role in terms of the actions. So even when we talk about psychology of sustainability and sustainable development, there are many factors which we discuss, like social factors are there, economic factors are there, and environmental factors are there. So the psychology of sustainability and sustainable development sees basically sustainability not only in terms of the ecological or socio-economic environment, but it also sees it in terms of the improving the quality of life for of the every uh, human being at Earth. Not only the human beings, it also takes into account of the different living beings, even the life under sea or under water. So when we see all these things, if a person is having a quality of life, a good quality of life in, uh, then he is given the quality education or affordable education, the person can then community development in terms of a particular society. Then each and every person has get who should get equal opportunity, and even many times the law and ethics are the basic questions of a particular society. People don't follow laws, even they involve in unethical behavior, and each and every person being uh, person who is selling a particular adulterated product in the market, that is all, they are not also following ethics. Even people who are richer, that trying to get uh, more profit even using unethical behaviors. So if it continues, certainly people will not be able to get. Even the economic aspects are also important, because we need growth, but that's growth should be smart growth. That should not be in terms of at the cost of the human lives, at the cost of the environment. So we need to develop a long range planning so that we can save cost, and that cost should be saved in terms of the human life, in terms of the environment. And we should also do some spending on the research and development activities, so that whatever the negative aspects of business which we are going to see in future, they can be reduced. And the cost of living is also important, because day by day cost of living is also increasing because of the many factors, and that is again one of the issue which has to be taken care of. And then environmental factors are very important, because how a resource is being managed by a particular nation, even it comes to international level resource management, many times it is seen that a developed nation use most of the resources, which is not good. And many times people who are the producers, who are the owners of a natural resource, they are being deprived, and because most of the time these resources goes to the developed nations. That is again resource management is also then environmental protection. So it is not responsibility of only one person, it is responsibility of each and every person, society, a nation, and all over the globe. So it doesn't mean that if you are polluting here, it is not affecting the lives on uh, in the forest, or in the life in the at the glaciers. So if you are polluting air here, again it is going to affect. Even the natural calamities we are able to see, they're also because of the uneven uh, developmental procedures, and even rise of global temperature is also because of these industrial activities. And these industrial activities should also be uh, a kind of sustainable. Then the habitat restoration and preservation is very much important, because as we have seen, because of the deforestation, many natural calamities are occurring, and that is also one of the major concerns. So to overcome these issues, we need to have some energy efficiency subsidies on tax and breaks. Even the carbon credits should also be considered, so that who are the people who are uh, uh, leaving more carbon footprints as compared to. So, if you are using more resources, certainly carbon footprints would be more, and that is why environmental laws are there, but the public are not involved, and is not involved, and even many times if they are involved, they are not behaving ethically and responsibly. So, for that, the awareness of these aspects are very much important so that people can behave responsibly, and if they behave responsibly, certainly they will be involved in certain activities which will lead to a sustainable uh, life. There are three E's which are very important, that is that has to be addressed on. Three E's of sustainability are uh, economy, equity, and ecology. So, traditionally, uh, sustainable development was based on three E's of economy, equity, and ecology. And the it highlights the right of present as well as the future generations, so that they can enjoy the environment and natural resources at their time when they will be. So, if you enjoy these natural resources and the environment at present, certainly, and you don't leave for the next generation, certainly they will be deprived of that. And if they're deprived, then we're not growing sustainably. So this means that sustainability is achieved when your actions are helping to develop the economy, promoting social equity, and protecting the integrity of the environment for the future generations. So three basic things are very much important, and that is ultimately uh, comes through the behavior of people. So if you develop economy and uh, you promote social equity, it means each and every person has uh, got opportunity to develop. Then you also protect the integrity of the environment for the future generations. So you need also to uh, uh, respect the environment through protection of the environment. If you are able to do it, certainly it will help. Then the economic development in sustainability means that a business must be profitable to be sustainable. यदि बिजनेस प्रॉफिटेबल होगा तभी वो सस्टेनेबल हो सकता है. So this will certainly allow the company to create jobs. So this job can address some issues, like if a person is getting a job and he is able to feed him and the family. So certainly, uh, the one aspect of that is poverty and quality life could be taken care of, and those products should be useful so that they are able to satisfy human needs. And if human needs are satisfied, so, and certainly they are going to have a quality life. Then we also need to bear in mind that economic development should be balanced with the other ease of sustainability, like ecology and equity. So when we see economic development, as I was telling that people who are rich are getting richer, and people who are poor, they are getting more poor. So ultimately, equity is not possible if people who are rich and getting richer and people who are poor, they continue being more poor. So that is again one of the issues which need to be discussed. So to follow sustainable business practices, a corporation or a company should not uh, pursue profit disregarding the equity and environmental protection. So people are if people are uh, earning more profits and they disregard equity, means they're not paying uh, properly to their workers, certainly equity will be compromised. And on the other hand, if you continue using environmental resources and you do not continue to plant more trees, so certainly you are going to affect the sustainability of that particular place. So that is why economic development should be there, but it should be in the right speed so that the people who are uh, uh, the different stakeholders of the company, they also get a life which is a dignified life, and that dignity also lead to a quality life. And it should also should not affect the environment in which the people are living, so that many times we see the environmental production, environmental pollution, because of the water which is being released by the polluted water which is being released by the companies, or the waste which is being uh, disposed by these companies. So many a times, if you see many examples like the cities like Kanpur, or even long back, London was also one of the polluted cities. So to clean these cities also very much important, and the corporations which are using the different resources, they need to be responsible, so that they do not uh, use the resources irresponsibly, and they also do not affect the environment in a negative manner. Then second aspect which is very much important, that is social equity. So social equity is also known as social sustainability, and it is perhaps less known aspect of sustainable development. Whenever we talk about sustainable development, usually we talk about the environment and not about the people who are being affected by these developments. So social equity is basically social sustainability. Basically, it aims to at satisfying basic human needs and rights, and which are being basically compromised in the race of development of the nations and also the global corporations. Even if you see, the living conditions are also in many countries, living conditions are also not good, because the people are not developing at the equal pace, and many a times they're not getting equal opportunities, so that they can properly have sustainable economic life and also the social life. So many times problems of discriminations are there, problems of uh, prejudices and stereotypes are there, and because of that, we are not able to behave responsibly to the people of other race or other nations or other places. So certainly, it has also to be addressed when we are talking about the sustainable life and psychology and sustainability. And third, which is very much important, is like the psychology of sustainability and sustainable development reinforces primary prevention approach. So this primary prevention approach fosters well-being in an organization also. So wherever we are working, we need to also see how organization is using resources, how clean energy is being used, how they are able to recycle the different waste which are being produced by such organizations, and they are also behaving responsibly towards towards the environment. So that is why at various labels, like when we start from the worker and going to a group or to an organization, and to organization and the international inter-organizational processes. Certainly, whatever behavior we are doing, we should also keep in mind the sustainable development goals of the United Nations, so that we are able to help each and every person to lead a dignified life, and also each and every level of society gets of their equal rights. Then this particular approach, like well-being in the organization, the meaningfulness of a project, it means whatever activity an organization is doing, plays a very novel and vital role in its real sustainability. So, whether it is a work life project, or a group project, or a organizational project, or inter-organizational projects. So projects are more sustainable if they are characterized by coherence, direction, and significance and belonging. So when we talk about coherence, that should be in cohesiveness with the environment where we are living. That should be directed towards minimizing the use of fossil fuels, minimizing the use of the negative aspects of the products, and also there should be a belongingness all over the world, so that we are leading to the achievement of the goals which are certainly going to help us achieve a life which is very much respectable in the society. And that is why we need to focus more on the behaviors which are going to address the different aspects of the sustainable development goals which we were talking about. So when we see at the overall level, like poverty, hunger, health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, clean climate action, life below water, life and on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnership for the goals. So, and certainly behavior of the person at the individual level, behavior of the person at a group level, behavior of a person at the community level is very much important. So that is why we all must understand that we are not. There is a very famous quote by Jennifer, meaning that we are not above nature, we are part of nature. So many a times we consider that we are above nature, and that is why we are not. We use the resources in a way that many life aspects are being affected, and that is why we also have to understand that we are not above nature and we are a part of nature. So when we consider that, we can, even many nations are exploiting nature, and because of exploitation of nature, you can see the glaciers are melting, the rise temperature is rising because of the deforestation. You can see the negative aspects in terms of the several type of disorders which we are going. So, and that is why, if we consider that we are the owners of the nature, certainly we are going to suffer. And in the recent past, we have seen many calamities in the form of the floods, in the form of the rising temperature, the form of the pollution. So ultimately, all these affects people all over the globe, and that is why, uh, if a person considers that they are not above nature, certainly it will help. And second very important aspect, which is one of the statements of Julie Bonazzi, who is chairman of Equafil Group. He says that sustainability is not a goal to be reached, but it is a way of thinking, a way of being, principles we must be uh, guided by. And that is why the goals which are being set by uh, all nations participatively, they must be understood in a proper way, and that has to be addressed by the organizations, by the individuals, by the communities. Then only we'll be able to lead a life which is, we can say, a very dignified. And we need to start from the very basics. So we need to start from the very basics when it comes to uh, teaching the next generations. When you are teaching the next generation, certainly you need to understand that you need to help them behave the way which is sustainable in nature, so that how to respect the nature, how to respect the people of uh, other societies, how to respect the people in the own society. So then only they will be able to uh, lead a life which is basically helpful for their future. And we also need to teach our next generation that the resources which we are using, it is not unlimited, which it has certain limit. And if a resource is limited, we need to follow some ethics in using those resources, that we are not the only person who will use those resources. These resources has to be used by the next generation also, and that is why we need to use resources responsibly. And at the same time, we also need to keep the environment clean, keep the uh, seas clean, keep the uh, uh, even rivers clean, and even wherever we are living, we need to keep those places clean. And that is basically, we can say, a sustainable life. If we respect the people with whom we are living, if we respect the ecology of our place wherever we are living, so certainly our behaviors will be the sustainable behaviors. And if we are involved in sustainable behaviors, certainly we will respect people of uh, the other nations, so that they can also lead a life which is a dignified life. So ultimately, our behavior is very much important. And has to be taught by at the uh, level of the family. It has to be also taught at the level of the schools. Even we have a curriculum on environment, but we just take it for passing a course, but it doesn't come to our life. So we also need to make our curriculum in a way that becomes more practice oriented, not only the uh, mode of passing a particular course. So if we make it more practice oriented in terms of giving them assignments, so that they can make people aware about the environmental protection, they can make people aware about the inequalities of the societies, they can make people. So that is why we need to be involved at the holistic level, so each and every level of the society. So if we do at an individual level, we also need a system. For example, if you are able to segregate your waste at your home, but what about next level? So we also need good governance, so that we are able to uh, have a waste management system. So whatever waste is being produced at homes, in the industries, or even in the cities, that has to be properly disposed, and disposed in a way that it doesn't affect the life in the forest, the life in the rivers, the life in the oceans. So that is very much important, and it is not possible at only one level. We need to participate at the individual level, we need to participate at the group level, we also need to participate at the country and the global level. Then only the sustainable development goals of the United Nations will be achieved. And for that, participation of each and every member of society is important. Then only we can have uh, a future which provides life where people are not suffering from poverty, people are not suffering from hunger. They are able to get uh, good health care practices. They are also able to get the quality education. They are also able to uh, get respect in terms of every person is having the equal opportunity at the gender level. They have access to clean water and sanitation. They also are able to get the energy at an affordable level, and the clean energy, which is future energy, you can say. And even the place where they are working, they should also get a life which is a dignified life. And it is possible at the industry level through the innovation and the development of different infrastructure in the society, so that the good governance can be uh, practiced by the level of government. And that would be only possible when we have reduced inequalities and we are having a sustainable cities and communities where we are living, and we are consuming the resources at present, and climate actions. So, as we know that the responsibility of the family members, responsibility of the parents, responsibility of the teachers, they're all very much important at the overall level. So, uh, we should also keep in mind that we are not above nature, we are part and parcel of nature, and we should respect each and every aspect of nature, be it our uh, near environment, be it the forest, be it the life in the rivers, be it the life in the oceans, and overall global level. So, thank you very much. If you have certain questions, we can take, and then we'll close the session. So, you can ask your questions in the chat box.
Dear participants, the forum is open for question answer session. If you have any question, please post the questions in the chat box. Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Arina. I am going to join from here or itself to the session.
Yes, madam. If there are any
Sir, is
questions
there
in
any
chat,
so we are waiting for the
if,
questions.
if there are any questions participants are raising, they can ask, them will respond. So we can see both sides of the nature, what we can have in future and what we can have in future. If we behave irresponsibly, certainly we are going to have the left side of the environment, and if we behave responsibly, certainly we'll be having the side of the environment. So that is why we as an individual level have to behave responsibly. We as a group level we have to behave responsibly, so that we can have dignified future in our present and future lives.
Sir, I have a question. Is there any psychological theory that can be related to the sustainability of the environment, like that? There is a theory of Jacques Lacan, registered theory, bus theory, and the theory of interpretation of dream from Freud. So is there any such kind of theory that can also be associated with the sustainability of the environment?
See, in general, if we consider the socio-cultural aspects of our behavior, so there is no such theory for that. I think there are many theories, but people are considering the ethical aspect of behavior. So many a times, if we behave irresponsibly about towards the people around us or towards the uh, environment, so certainly it is going to affect it. You know, and many a times it backfires. If you keep using the resources, even your employees, at uh, in a undignified manner, certainly they will backfire. So certainly, the environment or the people with whom we are living, that has to be related with cohesive in a cohesive manner. So ultimately, it will help. So I think psychologists also need to develop theories which talks about the climate change and other aspects. So more important thing is that we should have respect towards each and every part of our life, be it the environment where we are living, be it the people with whom we are living, be it the the people of society with whom we are interacting at the local and as well as the global level.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think there is no questions at all. So there are no questions at all. So now I would like to invite Head of the Department of Languages, Professor H.M. Arif Nadvi, to propose a vote of thank. So please join us.
जो है जो है जो है जल्दी आओ
Yes, sir.
जो
Sir,
है
you are audible, sir. You are visible and audible, sir.
am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
जी सर बोले, हम लोग सुन पा रहे हैं आपको.
Okay. Thank you, sir, Professor Sandeep Kumar, sir. Thank you for your elaborate discussion on the topic. I would rather say not of the topic of the day, but the topic of the time, concern of the time. Really, you discussed all the aspects because we are made by the nature, for the nature. We should love the nature. This is the need, this is the call of the time, sir. Really, your very well and informative discussion added a great knowledge to the participants. So, thank you, the proud peer, Dr. Arina and Dr. Vania Srivastav, for your well knit chemistry. We appreciate your sincere efforts for capturing the live happenings and facilitating the process by sharing the expertise of the experts. Dr. Vania and Dr. Arina, one one sentence for you in Urdu. शाद रहो, आबाद रहो, इल्म से सरशार रहो. Thank you again, Vania and Arina and Sir, Professor Sandeep sir, and being a head department of languages. So it is my moral obligation to propose vote of thanks, to offer words of acknowledgement and appreciation. So on behalf of the Department of Languages and HRDC Integral University, we have humble words of thanks, acknowledgement to offer, to dedicate to the giant personalities of the university. As you know, sir, Integral University is known the seat of excellence and the rising star in the modern era. Sir, the city representing the city of Nawab, the city of culture, the city of civilization. So first of all, I would like to thank the founder and chancellor of Integral University, Professor S.W. Akhtar, and Pro-Chancellor, Professor Sayyid Nadeem Akhtar, Vice Chancellor, Professor Javed Musarrar sir, and Registrar, Professor Sayyid Haris, and our Dean and HRDC Director, Dr. Sayyid Aqid Ahmed sir, and Dean of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Shahid Ali Khan, and all integralites who are really the source of inspiration. Okay, so and my words seem to be very tiny to thank to the speakers, and so my special thanks to our invited speakers who not only accepted our humble request to join the FDP, but also they enlightened all the lovers of literature of the postmodern era, sir, with their practical wisdom and extraordinary experience and presentation, and who will ignore and who will overlook the role of the participants. We cannot ignore, we cannot underestimate the importance of participation. Sir, to the participants, knowledge is ignorance. Yes, knowledge is ignorance until or unless it is read and it is experienced. Without participation, without readership, knowledge remains no knowledge. Knowledge remains illiteracy. So, our dear participants, you have really completed the incomplete. You have really ignited the crackers and illuminated the candle, the caravan, the candle, the torch, and the light, and the shama. So, to the participants, I have one couplet. मौसमे गुल है तुम्हारे बाम पे आने का नाम. We are talking about mosam, we are talking about weather, we are talking about environment. So, मौसमे गुल है, फूलों का मौसम है, because you participated. So it became द मौसम गुल है तुम्हारे बाम पे आने का नाम, और ऑल ऑफ अ सडन फिर नजर में फूल महके, दिल में फिर शमए जली, फिर तसव्वुर ने लिया इस बज़्म में जाने का नाम, फिर तसव्वुर ने लिया इस बज़्म में जाने का नाम। तो थैंक यू टू द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स, to the speakers, to the participants who are the part and parcel of the program. And when without their active participation, without their active interest, without their zero session, and the nature of asking questions, the nature of getting knowledge is really impressive. So being the head of the department, again, I would like to thank Dr. Arina, Dr. Vania, and organizers like Arshi and Zeba, and all the team of the department for conducting a successful event. Hope you meeting you inshallah and I will invite you again, Dr. Professor Sandeep sir. I hope you will not turn down our request again. And I really thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You accepted our invitation and you become the part of this International Faculty Development Program. It was indeed a great honor for our institute, for our department. And your lecture on psychology of sustainability is actually, it is the best lecture of the today's session, and we are going to learn so many things, how we can cope up with the environment and how we can go through the sustainability of the environment and the three E's that you have described briefly through your so thought-provoking lecture. It was really thought-provoking, full of knowledge, full of understanding, and in future, this lecture is going to open a new ways for the researchers as well. And sir, this is your humble initiative that you have taken for our department. And from time to time, we would disturb you to contact you to take some of the help from your side for our department. It was really your great effort. It was really your great initiative for the Department of Languages. Thank you, sir. We are indebted to your this humble initiative. And now, dear participant, thank you, sir. And now, dear participant, now I take the opportunity to deliver the valedictory remark of this International Faculty Development Program, Literature, Society and Thought, as this is the 10th and last session of this international program. And now we are heading towards the culmination of the program. And I am much thankful to God, the Almighty, that the task which we have undertaken was accomplished successfully. And in this expedition of knowledge, we have eminent speakers across the globe, like Professor Nishi Pandey from the University of Lucknow, Professor Vishal Gupta, University of Alabama, USA, Professor Alka Singh, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, National Law University, Professor Savita Kaushal, Jamia Millia Islamia University, Professor Devdulal Holder, Delhi University, Professor Murli Manohar, University of Hyderabad, Professor Elisabetta Moreno, University of Rome, Tovagata, Professor Navneet Goel, BITS Pilani, Rajasthan, Professor Narendra Gupta, IIT Roorkee, Professor MC Kaseva Murthy, Dravidian University, and of course, the great professor, Professor Sandeep Kumar, Banaras Hindu University, have poured out their scholarly enlightenment through this venture of academia. We are really grateful to all of the speakers who have spared their free time for their from their busy and hectic schedule. And it is a great honor for our department that we have invited these guests and they have delivered so thought-provoking and full of knowledge lectures for the participants. Now there is an announcement for you, dear participants, that the Department of Languages Integral University has always been progressive in bringing about academic endeavors for the benefit of the scholars of academia, and we will continue such type of events from time to time for academic development and learning outcome. You all know very well that this is the third season of International Faculty Development Program that we are accomplishing successfully. Hope you learn more through this program and will disseminate and transfer these knowledge and understanding to the students through your efforts. क्योंकि ये कहा जाता है कि ज्ञान बांटने से बढ़ता है, सो वी आर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग नॉलेज एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग टू अदर एंड टू गेनिंग knowledge and understanding from the other scholars of the academia as well. Now, I request the participant to stay connected with us through the same WhatsApp group. Very soon, we are coming up with a new academic venture, which will definitely be helpful for you all. I hope it is a small step in transforming India through education. Happy learning, dear participants, and till then, have a wonderful days ahead. Okay, sir, we are now going to conclude this session. Have a nice day.